Now we come to the next part, that is the indication. What are the indications of clinical repertory? Basically, clinical condition having characteristics, very characteristic symptoms of the patient. That is, cases which are lacking characteristic symptoms, where there is prominent common symptoms with few modalities and few concomitants. When we are having cases in a OPD with very less symptoms, very less red lines or guiding symptoms, and they are presenting us with the common symptoms which helps in diagnosis. In that case, the rule of clinical repertory comes into existence. And next we'll move towards the part origin and development. In spite of emphasis on individualization and prescription based on characteristic expressions, the need for clinical repertories were felt as early as Dr. Hahnemann's time. All the repertories origin, as we had already discussed in our previous lecture of introduction of the repertory, and in that lecture, in that presentation, I told you about the need of repertory. In the same manner, different aspects of repertory also came into origin during the period of Dr. Hahnemann. But when we consider about the clinical repertory or the repertory which are based on therapeutics or therapeutic use, Dr. Hahnemann was not very much happy with such practice, and he used to describe such practice as treating the name of the disease with the name of therapeutic action. On the opposite, Dr. Hahnemann himself had proved that we, in any of the cases, we treat the patient as a whole, not his particular part or organ. On the contrary, in clinical repertory, what Dr. Hahnemann told is, when we use clinical repertories in such practice, it is considered as the name given to such practice is, or the theme of homeopathy is not considered in such practice. And this practice, Dr. Hahnemann used to denote this practice as treating the name of the disease with the name of therapeutic action. Then we come towards the pioneer of the clinical repertory. The pioneer, the person who first invented not the repertory but the clinical. The idea of clinical repertory came into mind of Dr. James Crompton Barnett. He was the first person who led the concept of such practice, but a separate repertory on the subject was first prepared by Dr. J.H. Clark in the year 1904. Dr. Clark carried forward the work left by Dr. Barnett and ensured individualization by further adding. There were some points further added in the part left by Dr. Barnett, and these clinical parts were pathological symptoms, causation and concomitants. These were the certain parts which were further added in the clinical part by Dr. Clark. And in the same time, Dr. Hahnemann used concomitant to individualize through particular symptoms, while Dr. Hahnemann insisted on the totality of symptoms and gave more importance to the uncommon feature of the case. So Dr. Morningson gave importance to the concomitants, to take the symptom as a whole, like for to have a complete symptom. Dr. Hahnemann gave importance to the person as a whole. He gave importance to the uncommon symptoms, and in the same manner, Dr. Kent, he gave preference to the mental generals. He considered mental symptoms as the first grade symptoms to distinguish an individual case. So now we'll be coming on the part, that is the clinical repertory by J.H. Clark. So, this repertory, which came into the origin in the year 1904, the source of the repertory is Dictionary of Practical Materia Medica. This book is formed of 3 volumes. It comes in 3 volumes. And though John Henry Clark, who is the author of this book, he was a prominent English classical homeopathy. He was busy practitioner as a physician. He not only had his own clinic at Bolton Street, London, but he was also a consultant at the London Homeopathic Hospital and researched into new remedies as well as nodules. He is said to have had a forceful personality. When we talk about the work of Dr. J.H. Clark, he was a keen writer. He was for many years editor of the Homeopathic World. His most famous book are Dictionary of Practical Materia Medica, Repertory of Materia Medica, that is the clinical repertory, and the Clark's Prescriber. When we see the Dictionary of Practical Materia Medica, in that, like for example, if we see medicine Actia racemosa, then just after the medicine we will see the botanical name, its family. After that, what are the clinical features covered by the remedy according to the diagnosis, and then the characteristic of the medicine. When we open the first page, that is when we open the book, the first page which is open is in which it is mentioned clinical repertory to the Dictionary of Materia Medica, together with the repertories of causation, temperament, clinical relationship, and natural relationship by John Henry Clark. As I already mentioned you that it was published in the year 1904 and it is coming in one edition. When we talk about the plan and construction of the repertory, it has 5 main sections. Clinical repertory is the first part, then the repertory of causation, then the repertory of temperament in which disposition, constitution and states are mentioned, then the repertory of clinical relationship, and lastly is the repertory of natural relationship. Arrangements. The arrangements are in all the above 5 sections which I mentioned you, and the number of medicines which are covered in this repertories are 1011. Although the list contains of 1063 remedies. Gradation of medicine. Gradation, as this gradation, there is a little bit of confusion in the gradation part. There are 2 grades. First grade is in italics and the second grade is in simple Romans. But the gradation here, it mentioned the source from where the medicine has been taken. Other features. X is used to indicate the acid. Example, nitric acid is mentioned as capital N small t with X. It means nitric acid. Medicine begins with capital letter and second part of its name always starts with small letter. As I mentioned you, one can easily distinguish between 2 medicines. There is no confusion regarding the distinguishing of the remedies. This is all about Dr. J.H. Clark. In the next part, we will move towards the other features of the repertory by Dr. J.H. Clark. Thank you.